Hello friends, long time no see. I meant to jump on here earlier. I had to leave school halfway through the day. I had a doctor's appointment. So yeah, I'm on my way back to the school now. It is 2:27, so I can at least go back and help with dismissal because it'll probably be about 3 o'clock by the time I get there, so there's no point in taking the second period up to my room for 20 minutes just to bring them right back down. Let me think. A lot is going on, actually. I did get a new job at the school that I wanted. There's a brand new school that's being built right next to me, and this is their first school year open, and right now they are K through 2, and then this coming school year after the summer, they are going to open up to K through 8. So they're basically going to absorb a lot of our teachers, because I know in my last video I told you about my school closing. So at the end of this school year, whenever we finish this semester, it is March 1st, by the way. Whenever we finish this semester, our school is going to be closing down because we are a charter, and we're a charter, so we are housed inside of a church right now, and so that church has decided not to renew our lease for next school year. So we are all having to find new jobs, and most of us, I want to say probably at least 75% of us, are going to that new school that's currently being built, that's going to open up as K through 8. So we're going to have our own building. We're not going to have to worry about anybody kicking us out, because it's going to be a brand new building and it's all ours. And it's really fancy. I drove by there on Sunday, and because my husband had never seen it, so I drove over there to show him, and it's coming along very nicely. It's a big 2-story building, and eventually, like after the next school year, every school year after that, they're going to increase by 1 grade. So they're going to move to, we're going to start out K through 8, and they're going to go to K through 9, and then they're going to go K through 10, and then 11. So they're just going to expand every year, which is awesome. So eventually, we will have kids graduating from that school, so that's pretty awesome. So I did get hired there, and I'm so excited because I really, really like the school. I really like the headmaster. He's very, very nice. The curriculum is not going to be very much different from what I'm currently using, so we're going to have the same science curriculum. We were going to use some other kind of math curriculum, but they just wound up changing it to Savvis. But it's going to be, we're using Envision Math, and the one that they're going to be using is still a Savvis program, but it's not Envision. But we had a little, like a panel, they called it a meet and greet, where a bunch of the directors from our sister schools in the area came to our school to talk to us, but it was really like an impromptu interview, and it was very stressful because we had people from corporate there, we had HR reps there, we had our regional director was there, and then we had the campus directors from like 4 or 5 different schools in the area. So it was very hectic. And we only got like 15 minutes. And so they sit you down and you're at one end of a U-shaped table, and then all of the directors are on the U table. And so you're just sitting there at the end, and then the first thing that they said was, tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, I completely blanked. I had no idea who I was or, anything about me. So that little interview was just awful. And it was like, oh my gosh. And so I started freaking out. I was like, nobody's going to hire me. Like this is a big, like, I can't even think. I was gonna say something, but that's probably not really appropriate. But it was not a good interview. So one of my friends said that she emailed this director of this other school, the brand new one that's being built. She said, yeah, I emailed him and he was really nice, and he immediately emailed me back and offered me an interview, and so you should send him an email. So I sent him an email, and then I wound up getting sick right after I emailed him. So he was like, yeah, let's meet up on such and such date. And we made an appointment, for me to go over there and interview with him. And that same day I had to email him back and say, well, I just tested positive for COVID, so that's not going to work. And so he emailed me back, said, no problem, we'll just move it to a virtual interview, because I still really want to talk to you. And so, during this impromptu interview that we did at my school, I felt like, I didn't really get any kind of personality from him whatsoever, because he didn't really talk about anything. One of the directors was like, oh yeah, he saw my address and was like, hey, she's right next to you. Like, she's right next to your school. And he looked up and was like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. But he didn't really say anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is like, I don't know. And I was like, maybe he doesn't like me. So I just kind of like, that's the school that I really wanted to go to. And I was like, he really doesn't seem interested in me at all. And so that really stressed me out even more. But when he sent me the email, about scheduling my interview, and then we did a virtual interview, he was fantastic. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember from, our interview, our interaction at the school, you said this and this and this. And I was like, oh my gosh, he really was listening to us. He just wasn't looking at us. He was hearing what we were saying. He was just, writing stuff down. So I was like, okay, I may have misjudged this guy. But our interview was fantastic, and we talked for an hour and a half, and like, that's the longest interview that I've ever had. And it was so pleasant. He was so nice. And he just asked questions that I didn't even really have to think about, because they related to me and the grade that I'm teaching and things like that. And, so things that I didn't even really have to think too hard about, like my degree and stuff like that. So, that was a huge plus. This guy almost hit my car. But it was a really great interview. And so, he said that he wanted to schedule another interview just to follow up, and it wound up being like 3 weeks later, because he told me that I should have heard from him, by the end of the week. Our interview was a Tuesday, and he was like, I should be sending you an email by the end of the week, but if I don't, just shoot me an email. So that Friday we had a freeze, and so all the schools in this area closed down because we're in Texas, and nobody here knows how to drive in the ice, which is perfectly fine because I welcome days off. So I shot him an email the following Monday, and I was like, hey, you told me to let you know if I didn't hear from you, just to shoot you an email. I was like, well, I didn't hear anything, so I'm shooting you an email like you told me to. And it was a really good, I had a really great experience with him. But then after I sent him that email, I waited another week and I still hadn't heard anything. And so I was like, okay, Still nothing. So I waited another week, and then I emailed him again that following Tuesday, because some of the other teachers that I talked to that had interviewed with him, and he did say that he was interested in them. He told me that I was a person of interest, with him. And so I emailed him again that next Tuesday, and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I must have missed your first email. He said, I'm a captain running a ship with too many decks. And he was like, get ready for a lot of nautical, analogies or whatever, or, nautical puns. And he was like, yes, I'm so sorry I didn't email you back. And he's like, I called and I talked to your director because, we're required to. And he said, she told me a lot of really great things about you, and it matched, the energy that I've gotten from our interviews. And he was like, I'm so excited and I want to offer you the position. So welcome to the school. And I was so excited because I had emailed him Tuesday morning at like 7:30 or 7:45 or 8 o'clock or something. And then it turns out that he emailed me back like 20 minutes later, but I didn't receive the email until dismissal. And that day was awful. So it was definitely a welcome surprise at the end of the day to have an acceptance email. And I was so excited, and I announced it to all my kiddos, and they were so excited, and they were just like screaming and cheering for me, because most of my kids are also going to the same school. So they were really excited that they're still going to get to see me. And then fast forward a bit, my partner teacher also got an acceptance email that day. A lot of my other teacher friends that I have here at the school, they're also going to the same school. So I'm so excited. I did have, just this past week, I've had 3 observations. A guy from corporate who's over the math stuff, he came and observed me, and just to give me some pointers or stuff like that. And then I had another lady come and observe me, and she was from our new teacher program. She gave me a lot of really great feedback. And then yesterday morning I was observed by our assistant principal, and I haven't gotten her feedback yet, but I just went in there and taught like I do every single day. So I'm expecting, good feedback from that one as well. But, the observations were not that scary, but all in all, it was a good experience. But I'm back here at school, so I can at least help them with dismissal, because my doctor's appointment took up half of my day. So I will get back to y'all later. Also, next week we are having an intercession. And I told them I wasn't working intercession because I'm moving on Saturday. We got a new apartment. So we've been packing. I'm trying to find, here it is. I'm trying to find my my badge so I can get in the building. But we're moving on Saturday. So we've been packing. I'm not working intercession. That way I can have that whole week to unpack. And then the week after intercession is spring break. So I am counting down the days. It's Tuesday. Our last day of school is Friday. And then I move Saturday. And then I'm going to have 2 weeks off. And I'm so excited. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to get off here and go back in there and save my partner teacher, who has both groups of kids right now. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day.